was tutoring other people as
Okay.
well. By the time I got to grade 9, I felt like, okay, we're just like adding another layer of complexity. We managed to ace grade 8. So what's grade 9? And even going to matric, it was still the same thing.
Sure.
I've had like 5 years of good maths practice every single year, writing tests, writing exams, getting 100%. So there's nothing different about this time around.
Okay.
So it's like you've built enough confidence to be able to like then go and attempt like even more complicated things.
Okay. Love
Yeah.
that. From a person who was getting a lot of 100%, weren't you bummed when you got the 97? Weren't you like, where's my 3 marks?
No, I kind of knew.
You knew that it was going to be
I
a
wrote
97.
paper 98 actually.
Oh, you thought 98.
Yeah.
It is 98.
It is 98.
Oh, okay.
So like I wrote maths paper 1 really well, and I wrote maths paper 2, and there was this one question that I don't know what happened, but I kind of knew it was like 6 marks, and I
Okay.
knew that it's chai.
Okay, but at least you knew that you had your 90s in the bag.
Yeah, no, I was like, it's fine.
right.
I'm gonna let it go.
All right.
Yeah, I kind of knew.
All
But
right.
it gets to that point, right? Because with maths, if it's like solve for X, you can always go back and check your answer.
Oh, you mark yourself. Were
Yeah,
you those
you
people that
can.
before you go
Yeah,
at the
I would
exam, you would
finish
mark
like
yourself?
2 hours, 2.5 hours, I would use that to write. And the last 30 minutes, I'll just be like fact checking my answers.
Sure.
So I had more than enough time, but it also comes with practice. Because you kind of know if you solved enough solve for X questions, or you've done enough circle geometry, or you've done enough Euclidean geometry, by the time you are faced with a question, your brain already knows like what to look for, what to do, when to do it. So it gets easier.
Okay.
Unlike if you're not prepared.
So would you say it's more about exercising your brain,
Yes.
basically exercising that muscle?
Yeah.
Well, I always say I'm of the view that, people like saying people are naturally intelligent.
Yeah.
But I think the brain does rust, so you have to do constant work of exercising it.
Yes.
That's why I'm also very pro reading.
Yes.
Because I'm just thinking, if you get to a point where you do the same thing over and over again, your brain almost becomes redundant because now we're used to it. And I think math
not
is a good way of
challenging.
challenging your
Yeah,
brain because you know
true.
that grade 10 it was this, grade 11 we just add more 12, and then in the workplace maybe we add more formulas or whatever the case may be. So have you always known that you are going to go into actuary, or there was a different plan? What was the plan?
The plan was to be a pilot, if I'm honest. I know.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you have the body, the image. You do
The
look.
plan was to be a pilot.
Okay. Then what changed?
The eyesight wasn't great.
Oh.
But no, besides that, my dad was like, pilots are like glorified taxi drivers.
When they catch
you're
you.
too smart. You're too
Yeah.
smart. When they catch me, they're gonna kill me. Like, you're too smart. Go do something that will like challenge you intellectually and sort of like force you to get out of your shell a bit. And then my maths teacher was like, you're good at maths. Why not actuarial science? And I was like, what's that? Then I started doing my research and all of that. And I was like, okay, this thing is challenging. You know, they say we're going to be paid well. Not like we have less than like 4,000 qualified actuaries in South Africa. So I'm
Really?
also thinking it's a small elite group of people.
No, you need to put us on today.
Yeah,
Like,
so why not?
yeah.
Yeah, so I decided, let me pursue it. Spoke to like a couple of people who were in varsity with my sister at the time, and they were doing actuarial science, and they're like, yeah, you're going to love it. If you're a med whiz like us, amazing stuff. Definitely you have what it takes. And that's
Yeah.
when I decided grade 9 that I wanted to be an
Also,
actuary.
from grade 9, you built that idea into your mind to say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do actuary.
Yeah.
Thank God for your math teacher for actually
Yeah,
like also
exposing
planting
me.
the seed and exposing you to that. And also I'm not sure which area you were from in Limpopo, because sometimes like a lot of people who are from different provinces other than Gauteng and Cape Town,
Yeah.
they usually feel like they're more excluded
Yes.
because like it's like they're not as informed. But for your
True.
teacher to actually be able to inform you about such an exclusive industry,
Yeah.
it is quite impressive.
Bigs up to my sister, not my sister, to my teacher, Miss Teacher,
Yes.
Mr. Chinorinda.
Yeah.
You're forever famous for plaguing me.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the people that I think it's always beautiful knowing that the people that see us,
Of course.
because actually, I also have a similar story how I ended up in law.
Yeah.
I wanted to do journalism, right?
Oh,
And then my
I can
English
see
teacher
that.
was like, "No, you're not gonna do journalism. You're too smart."
Yeah.
He spoke to my parents and said, "This kid is just doing too well.
Yeah.
Let her rather go apply for law, and then with a law degree, she can always become a journalist. But with a journalism degree or BA, she can't be a lawyer or an attorney or an advocate."
Yeah.
And I'm also so glad that I could yield to his
Advice.
advice, and also for him to be able to actually see me. So it's nice having teachers that see you.
True.
And my hope and prayer is that we have more of teachers like that actually see beyond what we think we know. Teachers that observe kids, whether it's smart kids or whether
Yeah.
it's kids that are great at their hands,
Yeah.
great at art or whatever it is. But I think it is important to instill that idea and encourage that people do what they're great at.
True. 100%.
So then why applied University of Cape Town? Why was that like a UJ?
No, guys, why you Jay? My main, okay, let me be honest. One, I wanted to be far away from home, I won't lie.
Okay.
I sort of felt like I was very shielded in my growing up. I wanted to like find myself,
Sure.
basically, like explore who am I, what do I like, new environment, new people. Kind of felt like from grade one, I've been with the same bunch of
Sure.
people, wanted to explore and like experience new people. So decided, hey, Cape Town, right?
Alright.
Great university, number one university in Africa. Why not? And also actuarial sciences in South Africa started in Cape Town. So I
Oh,
was like,
really? Okay.
why
Home
not?
ground.
Home ground.
Yeah.
Brits and other UJs and
Ah.
other ones copied after UCT. So why not go to where this thing started?
Okay.
And also there were like a couple of people, honestly, who were like a few grades ahead of us, and they were at UCT, so they will come back and motivate us.
Oh,
like during
okay.
their vacations and stuff, they'll come back and be like, "Yo, guys, university is amazing. We're from UCT."
Yeah.
So it was like, "Oh my God, they're at UCT.
I also
I
wanna
want to
be like
be
that."
at UCT."
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just decided I'm gonna pack my bags, basically leave Limpopo and go all the way to Cape Town.
Weren't you scared?
Nah.
You were
I
excited.
don't remember being scared. I just remember being excited about, this new adventure.
Sure.
But I also feel like my 17, 18-year-old self didn't think much around what it actually means being that
Yes.
far away from home.
Sure.
Because when family is around, you have the support already. And it's like, you can always have a chat with your mom about, this test or this exam that didn't go well. And it's like it's in person and she can see and like see how you, even if you're not expressing it, she can pick up that something is wrong.
Sure.
But like now being far away from family, and I'm like very family orientated and stuff. So I don't know where my 17-year-old self got the idea to say far away from home is so much better. We're going to explore and be very independent
Yeah.
and whatnot. But I also feel like that was very crucial for my own growth
Okay.
and development. But it also just made me realize how much I appreciate my family.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
So how did they feel about you leaving? Were they like for the idea, like, yay, go to Cape Town? Or was it like, don't go, why don't you try University of Limpopo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what's funny is my parents have always allowed me to pursue like whatever I wanted.
Sure.
They've always been those parents who are like, oh, this is what you're interested in. Go for it. Like
Yeah.
we fully support you. We're 100% behind you. And so even with the decision to go to Cape Town, we never had the conversation, why not like Joburg, Wits and other universities that are closer? They're like, okay, if Cape Town is where you want to go study, then we fully support you.
Sure.
They just trusted my decision and trusted me enough to say, no, sis, go ahead.
I love that.
We're here for you.
Okay.
And I think that has also helped shape the person that I am today. Because I have so many interests and things. So having that support from them with everything that I do is amazing because it doesn't limit me. It helps me to just expand my horizon
Yeah.
and become and explore and like become who I want to be.
Okay. Love
Yeah.
that. So how was the transition from Limpopo to Cape Town? Like, how did you find it? And tell us more about your university life.
It just felt like a 180 degrees, like basically a shift. You were looking, then suddenly you're looking
Look
the
at the
other
other
way.
side.
Yeah, because Limpopo, I come from a small village. went to like a rural high school as well.
Sure.
And we all speak Venda. We're all black. We didn't use computers. We're writing like on
Yes,
notebooks
notes.
and stuff. Like your teachers know you. They know your parents. Like
Yes.
you're very shielded. It's a very safe environment. Everybody's just like, keep doing well. You've got so many people rooting for you, in and outside of your family.
Sure.
And you've got friends. You've made friends, and you've had those friends for the longest of time.
Yeah.
So like you've built a life around this ecosystem of like communities and
Yeah.
stuff. And then you go to Cape Town, and I remember from my year, my class, there was only one girl from my class who went to UCT with me. She was
So
in
it's
health
just the two of you.
sciences, and I was in commerce. So we're not even on the same campus.
Okay.
And it was like, sure, didn't realize how much I miss like my family or how much I'd miss them once I'm like that side. So also now the environment is a bit different.
Sure.
Most of the stuff is online. Like you are, in as much as you go attend lectures, announcements. Now you have to keep up with your emails. I was
Yeah.
never like that girl. Now I need to like keep up with my emails, keep
Type
up with
faster.
my own. Yeah, like, and now it's like, okay, now you've got white people in class as well. You're talking English all the time. And you're just, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
It made sense like back at home if it was a math problem and like I didn't understand it, my teacher would like explain it in Venda.
Venda. But
No, it's like my teacher's not Venda, so my
Sure.
teacher cannot explain this thing in Venda,
Yeah.
and we just there, we're sitting and we're like, you need to figure this out, and also I didn't do economics, I didn't do accounting.
Sure.
So I knew going into it that this degree is going to be challenging because I had a background in science, like pure science stream, right?
Yeah.
Didn't do AP maths either. In as much as we were doing the tough maths, there's a tougher maths that Model C school kids do called AP maths. And that sort of puts you at a better level going into university, especially if you're doing actuarial science.
Yeah.
So it's like already there are so many things. There's language barriers. Now you need to start thinking and talking in English. There's like all these different things, like just culture shocks.
Yeah.
You're in a city. You grew up in a village. That's also very different. The lifestyle is also very different. You had family around you helping you almost all your life. Now you on your own. You're your own family, and you have to adapt to this new environment. So I had to make friends, new friends now. Like we're studying the same thing. And I mean, it took a while to sort of find my people.
Sure.
But once I did and had that support and had friends and like people I could go to, I was comfortable enough to go for like consultations with my lecturers and my tutors, I quickly started like excelling again. But it took a minute to just, first year, first semester, I didn't know what I was doing. I just thank God that I didn't fail anything.
You were just in it for
I
it.
was
They were
in it.
tired.
Yeah, I was very tired. And I remember my last exam was economics.
Sure.
But funny enough, I never struggled with ecos. I somehow just got it. Accounting was another story because my brain doesn't do well with things that are like this. We want you to do things the certain way. I don't do too well. I love creativity. Like,
Oh, you don't like structure.
I don't like too much structure where it's
Okay.
like, this is how you do it. With maths, it's like, the answer is the same, but like, you
There are
can go
different
this
formulas,
way. Yeah, I
yes.
could go that way, or that. We're going to end up in the same
Sure.
place. But accounting felt a bit, had to get my head around debit, credit. And I'm like,
Principles.
why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And for someone who did it in high school, it was like, okay, they've been doing this for 3 years and they kind of know the difference in how you treat certain things.
Sure.
For me, accounting was my favorite. So just got a friend who got 100% in accounting to help tutor me. I helped them with stats and
Okay.
we were like, okay, we're good.
All right.
Let's do this together. It was just wrote economics after finishing my economics exam. Literally same day, I had already booked a flight.
What?
Went to the airport.
Gone home.
Yeah. No, I wanted to go home. I was just
You're
like,
just like, I'm not
done.
doing this.
I'm
I'm
done.
not.
I miss
Yeah.
my family. Like, I'm tired of this place. And rest food was the worst as well. Like,
Were you staying at an on-campus rest?
yeah. Oh, the food was horrible.
Did you also go through like initiation and stuff?
I tried to weasel my way out of the hectic stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was also this thing that we had to do where we had to wear plastic and sell magazines.
That's
I
wild.
was just like, I am not gonna do this. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
do that. It was called sex appeal or something. I didn't do that. I skipped like quite a few things.
Okay.
But like it was the things that I didn't understand that I was just
Okay.
like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But like our initiation wasn't that hectic for the res specifically that I
Okay.
wasn't. It
All
wasn't
right.
that hectic. That was just the one weird thing that we had to do. But
Okay.
the other ones were just like brides and like parties and meeting like res mentors and res tutors and just knowing where stuff is, who
Sure.
to talk to regarding what. That was simple. But that whole thing of wearing plastic, that
You're
was the
like,
one
not
where I was
me,
like,
child.
I'm not about to go and be on the street and wear
And be
plastic.
selling magazines also.
Nah, I was
Like,
just like,
this
I
is
didn't
hard.
get it. I honestly didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those things you wonder if it's for building character, it's
Like,
for wasting
no,
time. What
why
is it
must
for?
I wear plastic?
Like, it doesn't make sense. What would you say is one of your favorite memories of university? Your biggest highlight?
My biggest highlights is exploring Cape Town with my friends. Like after every semester, okay, first semester was an exception.
Yeah, okay.
But after every semester, we would plan something and just say, okay, let's go explore the city. For me, those were the highlights. Or like, let's go to the beach, or like let's go hike.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like, yeah,
Lot of
connecting with
things.
my friends outside of, the university environment. For me, those were my highlights.
All right. To a
Yeah.
person that wants to enroll for actuary, what are the requirements?
You really need good maths marks.
Okay.
And I know like they'll say the minimum is like what? Some universities will say 70, others will say 80. But it's mainly math and English. But I know with VERT, you also need like an 80 plus for physical sciences.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you need to make sure your maths, your science, and your English is like on par.
Okay.
Like 80s plus. But also now it's tough because if people are coming with 90s and 100s and you've got 80s,
Yeah, it's tricky.
yeah, so you also need to make sure that, you're doing the best you can. But you
Yeah.
can still make it even with 80s and stuff. You just need to be aware that competition is tough. Like getting in is really tough. And also if you want to go to a place like UCT, you can't afford to be doing the bare minimum. Like
Yeah.
you need to be working really hard. And I'll also say if you are fortunate enough to like sort of mix streams as well, right? Add accounting and economics, chunk out geography and what's the other one that we do? Chunk
Is
out
it history?
No, we did geography, physical sciences, mathematics, life sciences. So check out life sciences and geography if you're like 100% sure that you want to do actuarial science. Because I know people would put actuarial science or medicine as first and second option. Then you need life sciences and all the other
Yeah.
stuff. But if you know like this is purely what I want to do and your other third and second options are also like in commerce,
Sure.
then just put in the commerce stuff, combine that with maths. If you have physical sciences, you open up your doors a bit, and mathematics.
Okay.
Do that. And if you can do AP maths as well, if it's offered in your school, that will make your first year mathematics in university a whole lot easier. And that just sort of puts you at a good sort of starting position so that going into it, you are sort of familiar with the concepts and the principles and you're not learning a lot of things from scratch.
Okay.
But also I've seen people who did economics and accounting and AP maths and still didn't make it through first year. So it's like, that's great. It just puts you at a better position, but it doesn't mean you need to go there, relax. You still need to work really hard because the course itself is challenging.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
So was it easy securing a job, like your first trainee jobs? How does it work after you get the degree? What happens?
So I had a bursary.
Okay.
And I had to work back my bursary obligation, basically.
Okay.
So I knew, like...
With the bank?
No, not with the bank.
Okay.
With Old Mutual.
Okay.
So I knew coming from university that, okay, I already have a job. But I guess the decision there was to say, do you stick out with them or do you go try out someone else? But finally, it was just hectic for me to be going through like a million rounds
Searching for jobs
of interviews. I was like, I
Yeah.
have a job, we'll go for this.
Okay.
Although I was tempted at some point, I'm like, okay, it would be good to also just explore something different. But I was like, No, looking at, basically do like a pros and cons. What would be the pros, cons of actually go work for my sponsor, basically. And
Sure.
I was like, nah, I think this is where I want to go. And they were giving me an opportunity to work in Joburg as well, because I
Okay.
wanted to be in Joburg to be closer to my family. As much as I wanted to run away from my family.
But you wanted to be back again.
4 years ago, but
Yeah.
things had changed. I was like, nah, I want to be closer to my family. So also that for me was like the biggest thing as well in making the decision to say, do I stick with them or not?
Okay.
Yeah, but it was relatively easy. Although now what we're seeing is they also want like securing a good actuarial graduate program, like with your Discovery, for example, graduate to go work for Discovery and like really well, regardless of like how many board exemptions you have from university.
Yeah.
Right. Because for other employers, it's like, okay, cool. How many board exams did you like get exemptions for in
Yeah.
university? And then
Yes.
they sort of make the decision based off
On
of
that.
that. So if you were someone who was really struggling in university and you have like one or two board exams, then it becomes challenging to secure like the top, because we all want to end up like working for the top employers, top insurers or top banks.
Sure.
So if you're not, I guess, academically in good standing, and also your CV is not, because you have to compensate for it. I think
Yeah.
of it as, if you have really good grades, that's still not enough, because they want you to be well-rounded. You must
Sure.
have some, leadership skills. You must have done something outside of academics to
Sure.
show like, you're not just about the
You're
books.
not a robot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not a robot. Like they still want you to have leadership, be able to show that, I can work in a team, because you end up working in a team. So there are also people who did like exceptionally really well, but struggled because employers just felt like they were not well-rounded enough.
Sure.
But also there were people who were really well-rounded but had really bad academics.
Oh,
So it's
I
like
see.
you don't need to be like, you don't necessarily need to be like really at the top of your university, but at the same time, like you don't want to be at the bottom. You just have to have the right balance.
Okay,
So if
cool.
everyone, UCT offered like 10 exemptions, if everyone is getting like, if the top achievers are coming out with 10, right? And you just an average student, come out with like 5 or 6.
Okay.
But have a good CV to like
Leadership skills,
leadership
volunteering,
skills,
and all of these things.
volunteering, some tutoring maybe for that one course that you excelled in, because of course there was one course that you were doing really well in.
Sure.
Some of that
Yeah.
res as well, like you were part of some subcommittee. But don't overdo it as well, because now
Yeah.
when you overdo it, then your grades slip.
Okay.
You balance the two to say, okay, leadership, okay, this year, just one thing, just add it in, so that when you go for interviews, then that sort of distinguishes you from other people.
Okay.
And what I've seen, like even after sitting on interview panels for like graduate programs, at the end of the day, we're like, okay, academics are important, but at the end of the day, we want you to be able to work in a team. So there are
Sure.
things other than your academics that we are looking for. So if you're someone whose grades are not great, but those things are not there as well, it's just like it's a double punch on that someone who's taking a risk on you, because, well, first of all, your exams, you still have a long way to go.
Sure.
And secondly, we're also not sure about the kind of team player you are. It's very
Yes.
risky. Like we are making like a risky decision compared to someone who can be like, okay, I mean, I struggled with some exam, and like it's sort of expected. These board exams are tough.
Sure.
So we don't expect you to come out with the full, set of board exams. But it's like, okay, this person was able to get some exemptions, but still came out well-rounded. So in most cases, it just becomes a matter of, okay, how are you coming across in
Sure.
those interviews, and like what skill set and what experience do you have from like your university life that can sort of get you those grades. But what's funny is a friend of mine who wasn't really like top managed to get like get himself a good graduate program simply because of how he presented himself. And even
Yes.
with like some exams that he had to sub at university, being able to like tell a story around what happened. And like the interviewers being like, nah man, this guy is the guy that you want to have in your team. When he fails, he's not giving up, he's going back again.
Sure.
And he's able to reflect and see his mistakes. And
Yeah.
those things really like contribute a lot to you getting, those top positions at the end. But like, even if you don't and you're like slacking and whatnot, you will end up somewhere, but it will be like, it's not going to be an ideal job. It will be maybe a smaller consultancy that just wants people with your skills or with that degree and stuff. And it will also take you longer then to like finish up all the other board exams and other things you need.
Okay.
But job security is there.
Oh, all right. Love that. So, looking at the board exams that you guys need to write, how many board exams do you initially write? Or is it dependent on the exemption?
So it's dependent on the exemption. So different universities offer like different number of board exams. So in total, if we're talking about the main exams, because now to qualify you kind of like need different things, right? There's like the section of these competency board exams, which are like 13.
13.
Yes.
Is this outside of university?
No, you get some from university
Okay.
as well. But different universities, like UCT, when I did it in 2019, they used to give you like 10 of them, and then the syllabus changed and 2 subjects were combined. So now UCT only gives you 10. And then you have VERT that gives you like the highest number of exemptions basically at university, which is like 12 out of the 13. UP gives you like 11. And then UFS, I'm not sure if it's like 5 or 6. And then you also have your Stellenbosch as well. I think Stellenbosch was more or less along the same lines with UCT, or if not VETS. But like you have different number of exemptions that you can get from different universities.
Sure.
But the trick is, you basically, to get an exemption, you need to get like 60% and above in your actual exam.
Okay.
Not including like your
Test
class mark.
assignments
No,
and
in the actual
tutorials.
exam.
Okay.
Yeah. And those exams are not the easiest, which is
Okay.
why like some people come out with like 1 or nothing, and they have to like still, if you miss an exemption in university, when you start working, you need to rewrite that board exam with the Actuarial Society of South Africa.
Okay.
Or for other people, they might opt to be part of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, which is like a UK-based society for actuaries.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on which one you want.
So if you get exempted, say maybe you get maximum exemption like 10,
Yes.
and then you're supposed to do 13, does that mean when you're working you only write 3
Yes.
with whichever board or society that you want to write with?
Yes.
Okay. How tough are they? Are they like
No,
tough?
they're
tough?
really tough. I mean, come on, look at it this way, right? Our pass rates, if you go on like, if you just search ASA results, our pass rates are like 20%. Sometimes it's like 5% for some like really tough exams.
Yeah.
Like 10%. Like it's normal for a pass rate to be like,
Okay.
they can tell you 200 candidates presented themselves. Only 20 passed
Hectic.
for one exam. Like the tough rates are like, the pass rates are really low because it's tough. Like,
I
and
think it's
also
very similar to our low board exams.
yeah,
Like,
and
it
it's
gets
not like,
tough.
it's not people who are attempting these exams. These are like people who were once getting hundreds and things in their, metric, and some, things just, yeah, it's tough.
No, I hear that. So what do you guys really do? What does your day look like as an actuary? Like before we go into that, I just wanted to ask about Old Mutual, right? Did you apply for the bursary when you were in matric, or was it a thing of you did so well, then they offered you the bursary?
Oh, I had to apply. And I
Okay.
think that's one, our teachers use it to motivate us, like back at home, I remember. But I think we also need to emphasize it. Teachers will be like, no, like perform really well. Bursaries will come knocking at your door. It
Doesn't work like
doesn't
that.
work like that.
Yeah.
Like I had to apply, and I remember I applied for a couple of bursaries. So just say, okay, I need a bursary for my 3rd and my 2nd and my 1st option. And like you'd find people who do really well, but they haven't secured a bursary, and it's like, your parents won't be able to cover the UCT. Like UCT was expensive. During my time, I remember a year we were like paying close to or over 200K.
Ooh, shucks.
So in J, every year, I'm like, my parents there was no way that they were
could
going to be
afford,
able to
yeah.
afford to pay 200K every single year until like I finish my degree. So it's like you need, when universities open their applications, bursaries also open as well. So you have to be proactive in, getting those bursaries before even your matric results come out, because they look at like your grade 11. Some might say, okay, how's your grade 12 June results looking? And then they can like take you on that basis. and then wait for your final results. Others will wait for the final results to give you like the final response. But like I remember by the time I wrote my final exams, I already got my bursary because that's how Old Mutual works. They do
Okay.
it like the year, during the year basically. They
Okay.
already interview different people and then they give you an answer. By the time you go for your trial exams,
You know where you
you
stand.
know where you stand with them. And then if it didn't work out, then you can try other bursaries as well.
So when we were busy fighting for NSFAS, you were just chilled.
No, I was
having a
chilling.
time of your
I'd
life.
already signed my contract. So I was like, yeah, I knew what I'm going to be getting on a monthly basis and know my benefits and all these things. Yeah.
I love that. So, guys at home, make sure that you do apply for bursaries as early as possible.
Yeah.
Google is your friend. Go and Google bursaries in law, bursaries in actuarial science, bursaries
Yes.
in whatever. Some companies do give like overall bursaries, but I do know that some companies give specialized bursaries and
Yes.
stuff like that. But Google is your friend and start the applications. If you're not able to complete, because I do know that some people find it challenging or they feel like it's admin, as you grow, admin gets more and more. It never gets
Yeah,
any less.
no.
So you
Start
better start
learning.
training yourself. If you're unable to apply, ask people that are from your community that are in higher grades or your family members. Let them help you complete the forms. And also, I think it's a good way with. I love that bursaries. Some of them they interview you and all of that. It's a good way to kickstart the ideology of becoming an adult. You know, because it
Yes.
becomes a first interview. By the time you get a job interview, you have an idea of how to articulate yourself, how to present yourself, how to dress, how to speak, and how to have a particular confidence. Because I think I love what you said about your friend earlier on when you say that in as much as he had not done well, but there was a way that he told his story. And
Yes.
sometimes it's just that. Sometimes you have the charisma, sometimes, and that's why if you have to have something that fights for you. I always say
True.
I could fumble, but you better not get me into an interview room because I'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
You're going to be forced to hire me with my whatever grade that I have. So you
True.
must have that one strong skill that you can use to actually make people like you or make people want to choose you. And when you're chosen, also, even though you fall short, make sure that you bump yourself up. Because also it's a pity that you're able to speak for yourself and then when you get to the job, you sleep on the job.
Yeah, no,
You
you
know?
don't do what you said you were going to do in the interview. But I think also with just the interview tip, something that I remembered as you were talking is just around, we often say, especially in our world now when we like interviewing and stuff, we always say, you can teach someone how to like run your profit models, your cash flow projection models, and how to do the work, but you can't teach someone how to have a good attitude.
Sure.
And most of the time when we're really hiring, when we're gauging your potential, we really base that decision off of your attitude towards work, your attitude towards life, your attitude towards failure, your attitude towards challenges, all these things, because they sort of give us an indication as to, okay, life is going to be challenging. We all know that, but like, how does this person like come out of things? And also a big part of you telling your story is influenced by your attitude towards yourself and how you present yourself. So
True.
yeah.
And I even think, man, even your attitude to success.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I think many times we focus on things we can't do or things that are negative.
Yes.
But even beautiful things or positive things can be chaotic.
Yes.
We've seen people that were amazing people, but as they get promoted or as they grow in their career, they become arrogant.
Yeah.
They treat other people badly or they become the people
They
that we don't,
forget.
they forget where they come from. So I think your attitude is very important overall.
Yeah.
And then now you move, you work your time. How long were you at Old Mutual?
Around 2.5 years.
2.5 years. How do you end up at the bank? Then you can tell us what your day looks like.
How did I end up at the bank? Honestly, at the time, it was a matter of I've been in this role for like 2.5 years.
Sure.
And I started looking.
Okay.
But in my looking, I was looking inside the company and outside of the company.
Okay.
And I think at the time, I really was really curious around how do I, perfect my technical skills such that I'm able to run a lot of the actuarial processes from like end to end, right? And I always had a frustration with, my employer was very big. So you rarely could see things from end to end. You were
Oh, okay.
always, it almost felt like you were always part
You're
of the
just a small
chain.
part. And
Yeah,
then it
and
goes to
then
someone else, to another person, to another. I hear that.
yeah, so I sort of felt like very early on in my career,
Sure.
I want an environment that will force me and challenge me to like learn and grow. And by how you do that, you might need to. Then I had conversation with my mentor and stuff, and she was like, "You might need to move to like a place that's a bit smaller, like the
Sure.
way the actuarial team is a bit smaller, where if one person, if we're saying this person is running a valuation of an insurance company, they basically see everything from input and they prepare the inputs and then they run the model and they get the results and they then interpret the results and then write the reports based on the results and do presentation.
Sure.
That's an environment that I sort of felt like I really wanted to be in. And also I had pushed through like majority of my exams at the time. I was left with like one. And I was like, this would be a great opportunity for me for that last exam to get the experience as well, where you're able to see things from like start to finish. And yeah, one of the big banks pulled through. And I had to have a conversation with my manager to say, hey, really enjoyed, loved working with you guys, but
I'm sure it was a big girl type of conversation because I think there's always a loyalty complexity
yes,
where you
of
feel like,
course.
these people, they kickstarted my
Yeah,
career.
I mean,
It's
they
good. I'm
believed in
betraying
me
them. What's going
before.
on? What are they going to say? But yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
that you were able to have the conversation with your manager. And it's one of the
Yeah.
things that I always encourage people. I know that we live in a culture where there's a lot of toxicity in the workplace, particularly in the corporate spaces. But I always recommend that when you exit to space, try and exit as peaceful as possible. And try and
Yes.
have the hard conversations.
Exit
Hey,
well.
yes, exit well, because also when you think about it, we live in such a small world.
That was very small, especially our space. Our
Yeah.
industry is very small.
Imagine if it's just under 4,000 of you.
Yeah, none is very small.
Yeah, so
Like almost, it's almost like a small club where everybody knows everybody. So
it's like Lesotho within South
yeah,
Africa or
exactly.
Swaziland within South Africa. So I think
I know. So
Yeah.
you don't want to be like leaving a bad taste wherever you go, because chances are your manager, the manager that you're going to, has worked with your manager before, or
That's
they were in
true.
the same class with the manager you
Yeah.
had before, or somehow they've worked together.
Sure.
So you want to be exiting well.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
is very important. So now you go into the bank. What does your day look like? What do you guys do? Like,
Interesting. So I guess with actuaries, it's very different, right? It's basically based on which company do you work for,
Sure.
which team you're in, because then that determines like what your day to day looks like.
Okay.
So when I moved over, I joined like a strategic actuarial project,
Okay.
right, which was very technical in that we just gotten a new reporting standard. So we were trying to basically transform current processes, models, and systems to be compliant with a new reporting standard.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that space would be very, interesting. And like the learning curve in that space would be very steep because I first need to understand what they're doing currently before
Sure.
we even think about, moving to a new like reporting standard. And also there was a bit of, I love variety in my work. Like I'm easily bored. I'm not the kind of person
Same.
that would do the same thing over and over again. Like I'll just be bored out of my wits. So I felt like because it's like a project based kind of, piece of, position basically. Today we are dealing with valuation models and we kind of like tear them apart and we decide, okay, this is what needs to change, or like, let's just build a new model altogether. So for me, I felt like, okay, then I'll understand the previous standard and the new standard, and I'll also get a deep insight into the modeling part of it as well. So
Sure.
yeah, I ended up there. I think I did that for 2.5 years. And it just felt like the hours were long, given like the deadlines and whatnot. And I think at the time, we just develop and then we deploy to like other business units and they continue with the work. And I was like, okay, I feel like I want to be part of now the business units that are implementing, all of this. And I've been doing that for like 1.5 now, 1.5 years. But yeah, I also feel like I'm missing that variety again. So I might be making a move soon as well to say
Okay.
where else,
Can
you
I
know,
go?
can I go to just also just expand on my experience? Because I feel like I'm too young to be bored by my work.
Sure, makes
I'd
sense.
rather get exposure to like something new, something different that I will add to my skill set rather than just sit and be like, oh no, I know what's coming. I hate knowing what's coming.
Okay.
I want to live in the gray and the like, we're anticipating what's
Yeah.
coming and we're like, yeah, also the pressure. I love the pressure as well.
Okay. Oh, you
So
work well under pressure.
I work well under pressure. One of those, like I just tend to hyper focus.
Okay.
Like when I know I need to get stuff done, like I just hyper focus. But
Okay.
also I've realized you need to also balance that out because your body cannot sustain you
For a long time.
for a long time. Like you get
Sure.
exhausted. And when I moved from that team, I sort of felt like I was about to get burnt out. So I was
You're
like,
crashing.
okay,
Yeah.
I need to find a way to sort of balance it out to
Okay.
say we need to be, let's get this thing done and then also find time to rest and recover. Like the
Okay.
recovery part of it is very important.
Sure. So there's models you guys build, tier part, combine, and all of that.
Yes.
How do they work? Is it like number related? Is it theory? Is it system? What is it?
It's like a software.
Okay.
So it's just that you then, depending on, okay, my team, the team that I was in
Yeah.
was, we would develop some of the softwares to
Okay.
basically say, this is what we want the software to do.
So
So we were running the softwares and also being on the back end as well to code basically.
Okay. So then, what do software engineers then do? Do you guys work with them or?
So you do have actuarial specific softwares.
Oh, okay.
Right, so softwares engineers wouldn't
Know what to do.
what to do with that, but they can help us with just okay, we basically designing the entire system in that. Okay, cool. We want to take inputs from here and whatever. Then they can help with that. How do you outsource from here to there? But when it comes to our software, that's like a specialized thing that we can code and whatnot. I've actually never met any software engineer who's able to code in like actuarial software type of
okay.
vibe. Yeah, so then we do that. Yeah, it's fun.
It sounds like smart people problems.
Not really. It's one of those where it's like maths. Like
Okay.
you use it a lot, and you kind of like get it. It becomes your second language. You
okay.
then get it. So yeah, for those period 2.5, that's what I was doing, and then now my work is a bit. It's more reporting and more interpretation of results.
Okay.
And more like stakeholder engagement, which is
Okay.
a different feel to like what I was doing previously.
Okay. So if you happen to pass your actuary bachelor's degree and then maybe you don't want to go through the route of becoming a qualified actuary associate, are there other things that you can do?
Yeah, so you find that some people, like people we studied with, some decided like the actuarial science part of it wasn't maths enough and then just decided to do maths, like pure maths, and went along that stream. Other people decided they wanted to like specialize in statistics because we use a lot of statistics in our modeling. Like it's basically statistics if we really think about it. So you need to understand the different statistical distributions, how they work, probability distributions as well. So other people felt like they wanted to pursue that more and they ended up in that area, like where they're now specializing in stats.
Okay.
And then afterwards you decide you can find yourself working for like a big companies, insurance companies, so find yourself working for the government or whoever, become a lecturer, like whatever. Other people decided, let's go into like management consulting.
Okay.
And then it gives you, I feel like what I really love, especially about the Bachelor of Business Science degree that I did, is that in as much as it was very technical in that like you were doing all these math, stats courses and modeling courses in university, there were also like other courses like ethics, business law. We did like strategic thinking. So it makes you well-rounded. And
Yes,
if you
it's
want
versatile.
to, branch out, then you can like go into management consulting. You can do investment banking as well. Some people might decide, I want to pursue maybe the economics route and decide and maybe do like a master's or something first and then go into that. Other people decide, I just want to do like finance with accounting or finance with whatever and then go into that. So if you don't want to be an actuary, by the end of your 4 years, you basically have a wide range of options that you can sort of divert to say, nah, this is
Okay.
what I want to do.
I love that. Do they
Yeah.
pay you guys well? What does your salary range look like?
They do. Hey, they
Yeah.
do. I mean, the highest I've heard a grad getting is like 750K.
Per annum?
Yeah,
A grade?
a grad.
Hectic.
Yeah,
No, but it makes sense because if you're gonna pay close to 1 million
yeah,
for your fees,
yeah.
you better give me my money back. Like, you better give me my money back.
Yeah, and then good-ish offers for grads will be somewhere around like 500K to like 600 and something K per annum. And then for people who, the other category where you don't have a lot of number of exams or you don't have a lot of number of exams, you can't score like the top basically positions, grad programs and stuff, then those are the people who might be somewhere between like 350 all the way to 500.
Okay.
That's where your bare minimum
Looks like. So
yeah.
anything from 350
But if you're getting
to
350, I'll be concerned. Maybe somewhere around 400,
Oh, okay.
honestly. 350, that would mean either you are grossly being underpaid
Okay.
or you just didn't negotiate
It's well.
like you got a job offer and you just accepted and you
Okay.
didn't negotiate.
Yeah.
And also like you don't even you have like zero exemptions as well. But yeah, around 400. That's where like some people might be in. But of course we need to factor in inflation. I mean,
Sure.
yeah, for
Makes
grade programs every year, if you were there in the 450s, you must just add inflation to that to say,
Yeah.
okay, this is somewhere where I can expect to land.
Sure.
But yeah,
Because, I think 750K per annum is solid because, I mean, there's no I'm paying close to 1 million for fees. And then I don't get paid that much.
yeah.
And then once you're done with grade programs from a junior entry level, what are we looking at?
Once you're done with that, now it becomes a thing of, because with us, it depends on the number of exams, right? So if you're passing your exams really quickly, then you can, because if you like qualified and stuff, the average sort of salary of a qualified actuary and stuff, it's somewhere around the range is somewhere between 1.1 million and like 1.3.
Okay.
Right? Regardless of like your experience and whatnot.
Okay.
That's like more or less where a lot of people would be sitting. And then with more experience, then you would start
You
like
increase
building from there, right? So if you find that you're a grad, say you started, of course, if you're finishing quickly, it means you had basically, if not all your exams, you were missing one or two.
Yeah.
And then like you start now, they will bump you up to like around 800. But by the time you are done with your exams, you're very close to 1 million, if not above 1 million. But that also depends on, your company, their study policy, their structure. Some companies are very like bureaucratic where they will hold you on the fact that you're still a grad in as much as you finish your exams quickly, you don't have the experience.
Sure.
So you might find like someone who's done with exams who's still earning somewhere around 600.
I see.
But now for such people, I always say like move.
yes, move.
That's the only way you're gonna like catch up. Because now people who say someone entered with 5 exams, and because normally with grade programs, you might find that the difference between us, we have the same base and then they add exams. Other companies is like we're all being paid the same package. And I had 1 exam left and I don't negotiate or I don't move. And so now like I'm at 700. You entered at 650 with me, but you passed like 5 exams and you might end up like
above.
So it's also that some companies will correct that automatically by promoting the person who like finished quickly. Other companies, if you're not negotiating, then they might assume you're happy. And then like...
Yeah. So I think one big thing that I'm also learning from this conversation, or in general, what I've learned, is that it's important to use your mouth. The worst thing that
Yes.
could ever happen is a no. And
Yeah.
I mean, we move on, you apply elsewhere, or you stay there if need be, but don't keep quiet, especially if you're unhappy about something.
Yeah.
And then what do you think, is that one skill that every single person should learn?
That one skill, communication.
Okay. Why?
Like communication. I feel like that's how you talk yourself into rooms sometimes or into opportunities, and how you can talk yourself out of some things. But you need to be able to communicate. But also, I think it's very crucial and important for building relationships
Sure.
as well. And if we look at it, everything we do as humans is there's a relationship. It might be formal, informal, whatever. There is some sort of relationship that you have with different people. That's how we sort of maneuver this world. So being able to communicate well can like open doors for you as well. It can also help you like move quickly sometimes, but it can also like it can help you build really meaningful relationships
Sure.
that can like help you grow and become, you know, the person that basically you're meant to be. But communication for me, that's marriage is communication, like work communication. Like you need to be able to
To communicate.
express
Yeah.
ideas, and for people to get them to be influential as a leader, communication. Like there are so many things that are attached to it, and sometimes we're misunderstood because we don't know how to communicate.
Love that. Actually, that is so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are misunderstood because of failure of communication or the ability to fully express our ideas.
Yeah.
And I do think that most people, it's not that they don't know, it's
Yeah.
usually that they're unable to put it on paper or vocalize it. But yeah, communication, I think, is a good one. And then this is our second last question. Oh my God, time went by so fast.
Yeah.
What has been the most challenging thing about your career and the most rewarding thing about your career?
I think the most challenging thing about my career has been failing, and failing for the first time, second time, and like learning to overcome that.
Okay, was that
It's
with board
yeah,
exams?
board
Okay.
exams, and also shifting your mindset as well around. You know, I've always had it easy. I feel like I've always had it easy with exams and tests and things. But getting to a point where you fail and you're like, this is me
Wow.
failing for the first time. This is
Yeah.
This is not me. This
Sure.
is not on brand. I normally like say excellence is my brand. Failing, not
Not
on
my
brand.
brand.
But shifting your mindset to say, I mean, at the end of the day, it's the journey is not about avoiding failure, but developing enough grit for you to be able to overcome failure,
Sure.
because sometimes failure is inevitable. It
Yeah.
will happen. And when it happens, you have to be strong enough to be able to overcome it. And so learning that as someone who was cruising through stuff,
Yeah.
first time, just 100%, you know, and also now redefining who I am as a person, because for the longest time I carried my brains as my identity, and separating who I am as a person from my successes and what I do. I am not what I do.
Sure. Love that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a book I would like to recommend, and I think you would enjoy it.
Yes.
It's Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. She speaks on that whole thing of detaching from the identity of our successes being who we are, or
Yeah.
what we can do, or our creativity. Like she dismantles the whole idea of saying what we create is who we are, and what we create is not who we are.
True.
What we produce is not who we are. And we are taught this in workspaces that
Yes.
your results are a representation of who you are, and that's not true. That leaves you depressed and in a
Yes.
very dark and anxious place. So I really like that actually gave you an opportunity to redefine yourself. And then your biggest highlight.
My biggest highlight, I think, having to impact lives through my story, and
Sure.
like the opportunity as well to connect with young people who are like me, and basically show them that it's possible. I think for me that I find that really like rewarding, fulfilling. Because even at work, I run vacation work programs. For me, that's like something that I'm really passionate about, because I always think back to the mini me in high school or the mini me in varsity who wanted an opportunity to like spend time with an actuary for a day and like get to understand what they do. And most of the time when I made the decision to be an actuary, I didn't know what actuaries did like on a day-to-day basis. I read about it, but you realize as you're in the space that what you read is not necessarily like what's really happening in practice. So creating such spaces and actually just being employed in a company that allows me to do that, like run things like your thingy, job shadowing programs and stuff where high school students can come in and say, I want to do actuarial science. And we have a chat and I'm like, why actuarial science? And they tell me, funny enough, they always give you the same answer that you get on Google. And I'm like, but why? It can't be that, you know, search deeper. And sometimes it's realizing that, okay, you know, they're going to be really good at this. They really love this. Or them coming to a realization very early on to say, maybe I had the wrong impression about what this thing is about. And now that I've chatted to someone who's already practicing this thing, I can understand what it's about and make a more informed decision, because careers are like, that's a long-term type of
Sure.
decision. You need to really be sober when you do it, but also well-informed as well,
Sure.
which for a lot of people, underprivileged people, that's not the case. So being that door, I think for me, that's the most rewarding. I wouldn't even say the money. The money is good, but like I think it's the people element of it, and me feeling like I can impact, basically by just me being part of the profession, I can make an impact to other people's lives. That's more important.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And in closing, what is the season of your life?
What is the season of my life? This one, we're calling it recovery.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, love that.
it's
Recovery.
recovery. Yeah, this is a season of recovery. Like a recovery in, I've always struggled with rest. So I'm allowing my body to recover. Recovery in terms of, you know, last year was a particularly hard year for my family, especially at the beginning of the year. So recovery in that we are now in a better space than where we were last year. Recovery in that for the longest time, I've felt like there were other people and other voices driving and influencing what I wanted out of life. But me now recovering my own voice and defining and being honest enough with myself, not out of expectation of like, okay, you're now an actuary, this is what we expect you to do, but me defining to say, this is the kind of actuary I want to be.
Sure.
So yeah, recovering that, recovering my voice, recovering my mjolo, recovering.
Everything.
Yeah, it's definitely recovery.
I love that. And I really wish you a beautiful year. I can't wait.
Why is Siri?
I'm really so grateful
Yeah.
that you're able to honor my invitation. I can't wait to have another conversation with you concerning your book, Mind Your Sense.
Yes.
Stay tuned, guys. She's going to be back with another bang. And I really wish you a beautiful year of recovering everything. And may everything that is set in your heart that you desire, may you be able to achieve it. And may you remain the inspiration that you are to young people, to people your age, to even older people that want to change spaces and come into your spaces. Truly appreciate you so much, and I learned a lot from this episode. And yeah, guys, to everybody at home, if you have any questions about being an actuary, you can DM Employment Wednesdays. I'll forward the questions to her, then she'll be able to answer. Then I'll share them with you guys. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.